And of course, after that, after the implementation and during the implementation, we have to evaluate. Reason why? Well, it focuses effort. It demonstrates effectiveness, very important. It ensures cost efficiency. It encourages good management. And it facilitates accountability, which is becoming increasingly important in the current environment. Are there principles of evaluation? Yes, I think there are. First of all, I think you should be setting measurable objectives, which I've said before. The evaluation should be part of the strategic planning process. We should be evaluating not necessarily at the end, but continuously as we implement the strategy. Evaluation must be objective and scientific, and it should use correct methods. And we should be prepared to evaluate beyond the objectives, which is very, very important, because we might achieve things much more than we've set out. So it's very important to look at that. And also promote the management and financial benefits of evaluation is critical. You'll come across language in evaluation, and generally speaking, in many of the texts, that there are 4 key words: inputs, outputs, outtakes, and outcomes. Now, to me, what are they? First of all, to evaluate inputs. Now, that's your ideas, let's say, a brochure or a new website. It's analysis of that brochure or of that website before it goes public. And generally that's done, let's say, by individuals analysing it, or focus groups looking at it and reading it and analysing it, looking at it, viewing it, listening to it, and so on. So looking at inputs is very, very important. Outputs would be clearly measurable. So it would be things like number of people at an event, number of people who have read a magazine, number of people who have listened to a particular radio programme. All those things would be outputs. Outtakes are unusual. Outtakes are things that people take away from your messages. And what do they understand? And it might be that they've understood it correctly. However, it might be that they've not, and they've taken a wrong message. Now, in situations where the message is fairly complex, it might be in health messaging. And an evaluation of outtakes are very, very important. Because in fact you could be making a situation worse rather than better. And outcomes are very important because they're not just measuring simple outputs and numbers. It's looking at behavioural change. Very, very important indeed. So evaluation is absolutely critical. Is there things which are now a little bit outdated? Yes, there are. But I'm not necessarily going to criticise them. They're still being used. So press clippings are criticised because simply sometimes people just use press clippings as a way of evaluating a tactical campaign. I don't think that's a particularly good approach. Some people still use advertising value equivalents, where they look at the media coverage and then they rate it in terms of what it would cost in terms of advertising. I think in the real world it's still being used, and it's used because it shows value and it's easily done. Whether it's an honest, true reflection of what is achieved is doubtful. Opportunity to see, or OTS, is often used as well, where the same type of approach is taken to broadcast media. And evaluation is sometimes assessed in terms of universities now increasingly getting involved in analysing campaigns. As I said, advertising value equivalent, opportunity to see, press clipping still used and being criticised, but there's no reason, I think, why these things should be stopped, in all honesty. Now, where do we go from here? I've looked at the various stages of the process of strategy, and I think in your studies you'll be given a particular assignment to do, a particular task to do. And what I think I would encourage you to do is start to think of the various stages quickly. So, for example, when you're given your task, think this. Think, I'm going to write down an aim. Under that aim, I'm going to write a series of measurable objectives. I'm going to list 10 publics that are going to be part of this campaign. I'm going to list a number of messages that I want to deliver to those publics. Then think about a launch tactic, a creative launch tactic that would reach those publics, perhaps by using the media. And then do a list of all of the tactics that you might be used and how you would evaluate it. And in doing that, then come to the seminar and we'll look at it in a lot more detail, and you can obviously listen to other students and what they have to say, share opinion. And I think the best way of learning is by doing, first of all, and the second best way is looking at case studies.